Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Trauma Recovery University. I'm Athena Moberg, and I'm a trauma recovery coach, and this is my amazing partner, Bobby Parrish.
Hi, guys. We're so glad you're back with us again this week.
So thanks for joining us, and if you are not familiar with this broadcast and you are listening on iTunes or Stitcher or iHeartRadio or one of the other podcast platforms, you can go to our Roku TV channel at Trauma Recovery University, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Trauma Recovery University, and you can watch along live as this is a video broadcast. And as a thank you for being one of our loyal watchers, listeners, or subscribers, we want to give you complimentary access to our entire library of downloadable resources, and you can get that by going to traumarecoveryuniversity.com and click on the tab that says Downloadables. So that is just our gift to you. We just want you to have it, and we love to be able to interact with you. And speaking of interaction, I know we've mentioned this previously, briefly, intermittently, but now we're going to start really wanting to pull you guys in to be a part of our live studio audience, if you will. And so we're here to interact with you. So if you would like to interact with us on one of our live broadcasts, then you can go to bit.ly/Trauma Recovery U, or you can go to traumarecoveryuniversity.com/watch, and you can tweet along, interact with us. I'll be following the Twitter stream here, and Bobby and I are going to go over our downloadable one page, which again is a complimentary resource for you that you can get at traumarecoveryuniversity.com, and click on the tab that says Downloadables. So tonight's topic is sleeping disturbances, or disturbances in our sleep, and how we're coping with those. We're also covering topics such as nightmares, and we have tons of housekeeping items that we are going to be covering regarding this year's 2015 anthology. We're going to be sharing with you our Rockstar Tweet of the Week, which we share with you every week now starting 2015. And we also have 2 live events coming up in the month of June, and just tons of resources for adult survivors of childhood trauma and sexual abuse. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my amazing partner, Bobby Parrish, and we will be interacting with you once again by using the hashtag #NoMoreShame, and I'll be following along, and we'll be answering your questions live, and or just seeing how your day's going. So thanks for joining us. We are so happy you're here. You are the reason we show up every week. And take it away, Bobby.
Okay, so we're going to talk about sleep this week. One of the things that I hear survivors talk about over and over and over again is that they don't sleep well. They have a hard time going to sleep. Maybe they can't stay asleep, so they'll fall asleep and then they'll wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to get back to sleep. And nightmares. Oh my goodness. It's amazing that something that happened, 20, 30 years ago could still be causing incredible nightmares for us. And I know I certainly struggle with that. And sometimes they're nightmares about our actual abuse, and sometimes they're nightmares about something that doesn't seem related to the abuse, but they're very vivid. They're very unusual. It's not like we're just trapped in a burning house with someone trying to chase us or no one there to rescue us. It's that we're trapped in a burning house being surrounded by monsters of every kind that you could ever imagine, while our mother is chasing us with a broom. So the nightmares themselves are something that I know, even if you're sleeping well, you don't have a hard time going to sleep, you don't have a hard time falling back to sleep, the nightmares can still be our undoing. We had our chat this morning with our British peeps, as well as our daytime peeps who don't come to our Tuesday night chat, and a lot of people were talking about how they struggle to sleep. Everyone could identify, and that's why we know it's an important topic for us to talk about with you. So we're going to go ahead and pull up the one page, and again, This is something that is on our website. If you go to Trauma Recovery University, there's a tab that says Downloadables, and we put together one of these for every Google Hangout. And our whole hope with doing these is to give you a set of strategies to deal with a topic that is actionable, that you can do today to feel better. And so it's just one page, very brief. It's meant to be a resource for you, a reference for you. It gives a little bit of information about the topic, and then it gives a series of tips and strategies that you can implement in order to start feeling better. That's right. Right now. To start feeling better. And that is, that's one of the big reasons why Athena and I are here, is to give you help, give you ways to cope now, today, to help you feel better. Because both of us are survivors, we know what it's like, and certainly neither one of us will tell you that we have arrived in our last point in recovery. Both of us still have issues we're tackling, and so we know what it's like to need to have help now and want it now in our lives. So let's pull up that one page, and Athena makes them so pretty.
Well, thank you. Oh, so while you're pulling that up, I just wanted to mention, guys, I did mention in the beginning of our broadcast that we're going to be announcing, we already have the tab up to submit your essays for 2015 No More Shame Project Anthology. And the cutoff is June 1st. So January 1st to June 1st, you can submit your nonfiction essay or work of poetry. And this year's topic is together, or community, or anything involving being in community that has been helpful for you in your recovery process. And you can find a list of the qualifications and just the submission guidelines on our website at traumarecoveryuniversity.com/anthology, or is it /submit? I can't remember. I believe it's /anthology. So you can go to our website. There's a little button there that says book. If you hover your mouse over the little button that says book, the tab that says book, you'll see it says submit your essay for 2015. And we're going to be showing that to you a little bit later on in the broadcast. And right now we're going to jump right into our one page. Once again, if you're just joining us, go to traumarecoveryuniversity.com, click on the tab that says Downloadables, and get full access to our complimentary entire library of downloadable resources as a thank you for being one of our loyal subscribers. So take it away, Bobby. Present to all.
Yeah, I think we probably have 22, 23 on there by now. Let's take a look at this. I'm getting an echo. Are you getting an echo, Athena?
I'm not getting an echo, but I did just get a tweet from, hey, Dr. Stiff says, hey guys, I'm watching. He's on the East Coast, so it's a little bit later. And Stu says he cannot hear us. So, hey guys, we're going to mess with our control panel here for a second and try to see if turning this up is going to help. Go ahead and tweet to us at #NoMoreShame and let us know if you can hear us. I'm going to be messing in the control room for a minute to see what's going on with our volume. It says here, let's see. All right. I unmuted the microphone.
Oh, now I can't hear you.
Okay, now I unmuted you. How's that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm hoping that everyone can hear us. Thanks for tweeting out, guys, and for following along. Well, hopefully, are you still getting an echo, Bobby?
No, my echo's gone.
Awesome. Maybe I fixed it. Yay.
Woo. You're a rock star.
Yay, technology.
Okay.
Stay tuned for the Rockstar Tweet of the Week, guys. We're going to be talking about the Rockstar Tweet of the Week in a little bit. And right now we're going over our one page on sleep disturbances.
Yes. So generally what we see with child abuse survivors, whether it's physical trauma, emotional trauma, sexual trauma, is a difficulty falling asleep. And then once you have fallen asleep, if you wake up in the night, it's hard to get back to sleep. So we're going to tackle that first before we tackle the issue of nightmares. So let's take a look at this. Here are some tools that might help you. You know, it's interesting. At the chat earlier today, some people were talking about how they actually feel anxious about going to bed, about going to sleep, because they know they're going to struggle, and they also know that they might have nightmares. And I think
I'm in that camp. That happens to me.
Yeah, someone called it sleep paralysis, which I thought was an incredible phrase, which I would like to use.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I think that might have been Carl, or I forget who that was, but I do remember them saying that this morning. That was really helpful.
Yeah, I had never heard that phrase before, but boy, that is applicable. When you get so frightened of something that you're almost paralyzed in your ability to cope with it and approach it. I think it's one of those fight, flight, or freeze kind of things, you know?
Oh, yeah.
My psychiatrist tells me that when I get really stressed, I freeze and I can't do anything, which I'm getting better at, but it reminds me of that paralysis.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate. I think I have a lot of stress and anxiety surrounding the evenings, especially since for the last few months I haven't been sleeping very well. So you guys, if that is you, you are not alone, and we're going to give you some tips and strategies to help you today.
Yes. And the first one is to establish a nighttime routine that lets your body and mind prepare for sleep. And I know that as parents, we're taught to do that with our children. And it's a good thing to help our children know that we are getting ready to sleep. And when you establish that routine, it's like their mind knows that it's time to start to wind down. And so it's helpful for us as adults to do the same thing, to establish a nighttime routine. So the first thing I do is take a shower, and then I brush my teeth, and then I read my book for half an hour, then I, turn off the light, and it's time to sleep. So when you establish that routine, you let your mind know that you're moving towards the sleep process. And it does truly help to set you up for success, as we talk about. The other one is to create a safe, nurturing, and comfortable atmosphere in your bedroom. And that's so important, especially for abuse survivors. Our bedrooms have to be a safe place. They just have to.
Yeah.
And I know that for me, that's particularly helpful. I recognize it's important for me because a lot of my abuse happened at night when I was a child. So nighttime and my bedroom, they have to be safe places. They have to be as uncluttered as possible. They have to be as safe as possible. I've got the drapes on all the windows. I can lock the door if I want to. I don't usually have visitors in my bedroom, so I know it's my sanctuary, it's my haven. And that's so important. And so, and we're not talking about, you've got to go out and spend $10,000 to create the bedroom of your dreams. By all means, if you have $10,000 to create the bedroom of your dreams, please do. I would love that. But if you don't, you can still do lots of little things that really help your bedroom to feel like it's your retreat. It's your sanctuary, whether that's through candles, whether that's through a couple pieces of artwork, whatever it is that helps you to create that nurturing. And you're going to hear me talk several times tonight about that feeling nurturing. And we really need to learn how to nurture ourselves, especially since as children we probably often didn't get a lot of nurturing.
Absolutely. We talked a lot about that in chat this morning. I wanted to say hello to Melissa Wilson. She's watching live right now.
Hi, Melissa.
I'm waving at you. I hope you can see us waving. And we want to welcome everyone. If you just tuned in, go to nomoreshameproject.com or traumarecoveryuniversity.com and click on the tab that says downloadables so you can get access to this nifty one-page downloadable resource that we're going through right now, and we're right underneath the heading that says, here are some tools that may help you. We're right down on like number 3, number 4. We're talking about
Yes.
patterns and sleep disturbances. Ooh.
Yes. So the next one is lock your bedroom door if that helps you to feel safer at night. And it's funny because I was talking in chat this morning about how that doesn't help me, because then I just feel that the bad guys are waiting outside. So then I'm terrified, and I kid you not, terrified. And I know it's unreasonable, it's irrational, but that doesn't matter because it all ties back into my abuse, and I understand why it's irrational. I'm terrified to open my door in the morning because I'm afraid that the bad guy sat out there all night just waiting for me to open my door in the morning.
Yeah. You know what, though? The irrational fears that we have as survivors, and it's nice if we do recognize that they're irrational fears, but they're fears nonetheless.
Right?
And they're very real to us. And I
Yes.
realized recently, going through counseling in EMDR recently, one of my irrational fears that I have been going through, which ties into our topic tonight of sleep disturbances, Bobby, is whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, without even knowing that I'm doing it, I am in a completely the feeling takes over my entire mind and body that I'm frozen and I'm hypervigilant and I'm pretending to sleep, because that was what I did when I was little. Is I would pretend to sleep so hopefully someone would go away or not want to bother me or touch me or wake me up. And so it has nothing to do with my husband. My husband's never even really woke up or wanted to snuggle up next to me in the middle of the night. So it has very little to do with my husband, and it has everything to do with my abuse. So.
And even if he wanted to snuggle up with you, he doesn't want to hurt you.
No.
I mean, my goodness,
I wouldn't even pretend I was
man in the world.
Yeah, no, he is sweet, and he would never. He would never want to hurt me. And it's like, I don't. It's never even happened. It's completely long time ago. It's some sort of repressed thing that I don't even realize I'm doing. I wake up, my heart is beating out of my chest, and I'm pretending to sleep, and I don't even know I'm doing it. So
yeah, that's the power, you guys. That's the power that our abuse controls and sets into our mind. And so if you feel that way, if you have, you know, what maybe to you think is an irrational or silly or stupid fear, know A, that it's very typical of child abuse survivors, and B, you aren't alone. And we really, truly, our hope above all hopes is that you hear this and you stop shaming yourself, because your mind is doing what it thinks needs to happen for you to be safe.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because that just triggered a thought in me, and I'm going to, you have to forgive me, I'm going to go back on camera so we can talk here for a minute. Stop. There we go, now I'm back. When I was a little girl, my abuser used to come home. He would work second shift at the factory, and he would come home about maybe 11 o'clock at night. And then there were two ways that things could go. He would either come into my bedroom, or he would go to bed in the other room. And I never knew which way it was going to go every night. And if you're watching me and I'm looking down in the corner, it's because Athena's down there in my corner. Her
I'm
little
right
screen.
here.
That's right. So that's.
I'm fully engaged with you, Bobby.
No. That was what I was trying to do. I wasn't. I'm just. That's when, you know, if you're looking at me and you notice that I look down in the corner, it's because I'm connecting with Athena. So it's not because I don't see you guys out there. And so what I used to do at night is I used to try and stay awake until he got home and I knew which way he'd go. Because if I fell asleep and he woke me up, I was disoriented. You know how you are when you first wake up? You're in that kind of, especially when someone wakes you out of a sound sleep, you're in that kind of fog, disoriented place.
It's terrifying.
It's
completely terrifying.
Right. And so not only would I wake up out of a sound sleep and be disoriented, but I would wake up to something terrible. And I had the hardest time the way that I coped with my abuse was to dissociate. I had these, my sister and I had bunk beds, and she was on the top bunk, and I had drawn pictures with my color crayons on the bottom of my sister's bed. For some reason, my parents put sheets of cardboard there. I don't know why. And I would draw pictures. And so when I was abused, I would dissociate and fly away up into those pictures. And if he would wake me up, I couldn't dissociate because I was too terrorized and I was too disoriented. So I would do my best to stay awake. And if you're 6 or 7 years old, staying awake until midnight is hard stuff, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
It really was. So, I mean, talk about a setup for having sleep problems later in your life, you know?
Yeah.
Because the whole process of falling asleep and being asleep is contorted and twisted and used against you. I mean, here is something that is supposed to be restorative and renewing. It's supposed to be a time when our brain heals itself, and it has become a battleground instead. And so I really want people to know that if you struggle with those things too, you're not alone. And so much of it makes sense, probably, given your situation, your individual situation, and your abuse. So don't shame yourself and don't feel badly if you struggle with this, because there's reasons. There's huge reasons why. And I know, Athena, you talked about how you would wake up to someone being there and how terrifying that is. I mean, my goodness, no wonder we have hard times with sleep.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest times I had, interestingly, I'm gonna go. I was just thinking about Melissa, since I know she's watching live right now, and I talked on her podcast about bullying. One of the most terrifying things that happened to me wasn't even regarding my sexual abuse. One of the most terrifying things that I remember from my childhood, besides the domestic violence, which scarred me more than anything else, along with the bullying. But I woke up one time to my mother at the foot of my bed screaming at me, and she yanked me out of my bed and by my neck, by my throat, and she was choking me and hitting my head against the wall. And the reason that she was doing that is because I had cut my bangs. And because I had cut my bangs and they didn't look pretty anymore, she was very upset with me.
She was in a rage, irrational.
She was in a rage, and I believe it was because, like, as we've talked about previously, I've started in my adult life just recently, started realizing that I was used as currency. And so if I was very pretty and looked very pretty, then she got to have nicer things, whether it was, men wanting to spend time with her or, buy things for her, buy things for me or whatever. It was always a plus. And so when I changed my appearance, whether it was to bite my fingernails where they didn't look pretty enough, or if I were to cut my hair and it didn't look pretty, or something that affected my physical appearance, then it threw her into an irrational place. And then she would retaliate and take it out on me. Well, thank God for my stepsister. Melissa, I meant to tell you this. Like, I remembered this since the podcast that I did with you. My stepsisters that I remember bullying me when I was little, I've since come to realize that it was actually my mom that had initiated the bullying and was like the leader of the pack. And my stepsister actually saved my life that day. And she called the police, and she was yelling and got through to my mom and said, "Stop, stop, stop, you're going to kill her. You're going to kill her. You need to stop." And so I've had problems sleeping ever since then. I think I was like 8 years old at the time. I think I was 8 or 9 years old. So I've had trouble sleeping since then. But through the years, as I've forgotten about things and whatever, I was sleeping totally fine, especially when I used to get a lot of exercise, like training for marathon. But just recently, over the past few months, I've had a lot of trouble sleeping ever since I started having some more memories. So, but interestingly, like you were saying, Bobby, how when you're woken up, it is not only terrifying, but it's very disorienting. So you're almost afraid, like our minds deduce that it would be better to not fall asleep because if we fall asleep and we get woken up, then not only are we disoriented, but we're afraid. So it's better to just stay awake to see what's going to happen, type of a
Right,
thing.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. That's the way to protect ourselves, is to stay awake,
yeah.
because sleep leaves
So
us vulnerable.
it does leave us vulnerable, and like I don't even think about it. That's operating on a completely subconscious level, you guys. I mean,
Yeah,
our conscious minds don't think I'm going to stay awake because falling asleep makes me vulnerable, and if I wake up and I'm disoriented, then that's going to be bad. And like that's not how we operate on a conscious level. We're like, oh, I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep now, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I'm not really sleeping. Like I'm sort of watching myself sleep. I'm
yeah,
halfway sleeping, halfway watching myself sleep. I'm not in a restful sleep. And if I do go into a restful sleep, then all of a sudden I'm dreaming, I'm having nightmares, and then I'm remembering my nightmares, and yada, yada, yada down the line. So anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent, but I'm glad you came back on camera so that we could talk about this, Bobby, because, I think our discussions, our open discussions about our own experiences oftentimes help our viewers and listeners because they realize in that moment that they're not alone and that
right.
they've experienced something similar. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
And they understand, hopefully you all understand that what you're going through, as horrible as it is you're not alone. And that when you realize you're not alone, then you realize that there's not a lot to be ashamed of. And
yeah.
that's what we want for you more than anything, is for you not to feel ashamed. Okay, let's go back to the one page and go back here and do present to everyone. There we go. Okay, the next thing on our list, now we're going to talk about a series of things that help you to relax and help you to feel sleepy. Take a warm bath before bedtime. Someone this morning talked about taking a bath with Epsom salts. And I've never tried that, but I've used bath oils, I've used bath salts, things like that. All of those are helpful. Eliminate stressful activities 2 hours before bedtime. This one really helps me. I know that if I'm going to relax enough to sleep, I need to stop working. I need to get off of social media. I need to stop, answering emails, all of those things at least 2 hours before it's time for me to go to bed. And a lot of people this morning talked about playing music,
Oh, yeah.
soothing music in the bedroom as they're trying to fall asleep. And I know I talked about white noise, that I have a fan, and I run that fan at night. And even sometimes when I'm writing, if I'm stressed and things aren't going really well, I'll go over and switch my fan on because it's just soothing to me,
Oh,
to
yeah.
hear that white noise. And I don't care if it's, 89 degrees below zero outside, that fan is on. And I have
Yeah,
a
no.
little one too that I travel with.
I
Um,
love that you said you had a fan that you travel with. That is the most brilliant thing I've ever heard in my life because when I travel, I don't sleep as well as I do because I don't have my white noise fan.
right, and I know that they make white noise machines. I just haven't yet found one. I know they used to be really expensive, but I hear they're cheaper now. So before I travel again, I need to look into that because I mean, I've gone without it, and I'll go into the hotel bathroom and turn the fan on and, try and find something because um, it's really necessary for me in order to get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And then we talked about using scents. I know that more and more and more each day I'm hearing information about essential oils and people talking about using them and using scents, maybe like a scented candle, like lavender, which is supposed to be very soothing and very relaxing. And I know that a lot of people use to help them sleep at night. But again, please don't burn a candle while you're falling to sleep. Not a good idea.
Yeah. Practice safety, you guys. Dr. Stiff says he totally understands the whole don't close your eyes routine. And Stacy's watching live, and Um, she loves that we are sharing our stories so that she knows right in that moment that she's not alone. She doesn't feel alone. So,
Ah, and look at that. She said there are white noise apps so you can download on your phone.
oh yeah, she has music
Wow.
going 24/7, and she has a fan at night. And yes, this is the basis for friendship, folks. When we all can understand one another's
Yeah,
idiosyncrasies and quirks.
exactly. Um,
Oh, I lost you, Bobby. Bobby, I lost you. Uh-oh. Hey guys, we're having a
I'm
couple
there.
of technical. Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay, I lost you for a second. We're having some technical
Sorry,
difficulties,
sorry.
but that's
We
okay.
are. The sound quality is not really good tonight. A lot of people talked this morning about laying in bed and struggling to sleep, and we kind of came to, I think, to a group consensus that it's best to get up. If you're laying in bed, you're struggling to sleep, and your mind is going a million miles an hour, and it's going towards the bad things, get up and do something. Read a book. Don't get up and do something that's going to, activate your mind and brain. Um, get up, sit down, read a book, but um, don't just lay in bed and struggle to sleep, because we don't want your bed associated with struggle. We want your bed to be associated with restfulness and relaxation and comfort and sleep.
Yeah.
Um, that was kind of what I heard this morning, Athena. Is that what you heard too?
Yeah, I did. And Rubius was sharing some really helpful tips as well. And most of them were surrounded around the topic of making sure that your bed is a sanctuary and it's
Yeah,
a safe place, it's a solace. And um,
I love that word, solace.
I know, me too. And, the whole part about getting up and doing something, um, it is just I was just sharing with you off the air while we were in the green room, Bobby, or even earlier, I believe, that last night I just right on time, like usual, I was having trouble sleeping. And it's so funny how the topics that we discuss, which have been chosen weeks in advance, folks, but without fail, every week, whatever topic we're on, I have some sort of real life situation, and it happened again last night. I had something going on with my eye, and I was laying in bed frustrated that I couldn't fall asleep because I felt like my eye was scratchy. And so I literally had to wake up and flush my eye, and I just instantly got up out of bed, which I normally don't do. I normally lay there and get frustrated. But I didn't, and I got up and I finally felt like I could lay back down, and I ended
Yeah,
up falling back asleep. I was sleep
right,
deprived when I woke up, but at least I was able
right.
to fall back asleep.
Yes, yes. And that helps me, because if I get up and wander around, I get my mind out of that vortex, that cycle of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, that I get into when I can't
Yeah.
sleep.
Oh
And
my gosh,
sometimes
it is.
that's
It's a
all I
panic.
needed.
It's a panic. It is. And
It is.
I do love, I'm not going to skip over the part about getting a pet because I really want you to share about copper. I want to skip that for half a second and talk about the bedding. And, you
Yes.
guys, bedding, I've never in my life had more comfortable sheets than I have right now, and I've never slept better than I've been sleeping lately with the, obviously with the exception of the fact that I'm having some nightmares and stuff from memories. But prior to me having those nightmares and memories, I have the most comfortable bedding I've ever had in my entire life. I highly recommend Macy's Charter Club. This is not an affiliate. I'm not getting paid to say that. I'm just a huge fan of Macy's Charter Club sheets. And they're like I forget what kind of thread count they are, but they're 100% cotton and they're breathable. And someone today in chat, in the UK chat, mentioned
Uh-huh.
having not turning the heater on in your room, not heating your room. And I think what they meant was not for people that live in 30 or 40 or 80 below zero, but rather making sure that it's a little bit chilly in the room so that you can snuggle up with those blankets, and cuddling with the blankets actually is very womb-like, and you can sort of like
Right.
snuggle with them, and it's comforting.
Well,
So
sleep research shows that the optimal room temperature to sleep in is on the lower side.
it
So
is.
if your bedroom is warmer, or it has that quote unquote stuffy feeling, it does make it harder to sleep. It
Yeah, it
does.
does. We
Um,
definitely like to keep it like around somewhere in the low 70s. That's where I sleep best. I even like it to be down in the high 60s actually. I love
Yeah,
it when it's that cold. I really
yeah.
do.
That's what I have my thermostat set on right now is 67. Um, and
Let's talk about getting a pet, Bobby, because you have your sweet little Chihuahua named
I do.
Copper, and
I
he
do.
is the sweetest boy.
Yeah, Rachel gets to see, I'm sorry, Athena gets to see him on Skype all the time. You know, I would not sleep as well if I didn't have Copper, if I didn't have him, because he is just a source of comfort. He always, without fail, he will, when I get into bed, he'll come in and he'll stand there and he'll wait and look at me until I lift the blanket up, and he'll burrow down underneath the blanket and curl up right by my side. And it brings me a source of comfort, um, unlike anything, that I've ever had. So I know everybody can't get a pet. Sometimes when you get a pet, you don't like your pet to sleep in bed with you. Sometimes the pet doesn't want to sleep in bed with you, but I am here to tell you, if you had a pet and you like to snuggle up with your pet, it is just truly a very therapeutic thing. And I can't recommend it enough. It's one of my sleep saving graces.
That's
So,
awesome. I'm so happy you have Copper.
me too.
And I'm
Um,
happy I have my husband.
there you go. See, you you have Jim, I have Copper. Um, and then we talk about the bedding, and I want to talk about that for a minute too, because a couple of months ago, maybe as much as 4 or 5 months ago now, I had a string of really horrible nightmares. I mean, just gut-wrenching, earth-shaking nightmares for about 4 nights in a row. And when I finally got out of that time, I had a hard time sleeping again. And one of the things I did was go out and buy new bedding. And I don't mean, take $400 or $500 out and buy new bedding. I went to Target. I, hunted the aisles. I think I spent maybe $40 on sheets and another $40 on a blanket and a comforter, and that was all it took. I had new bedding, and that made a huge difference for me. It's just that simple task of changing the bedding made my bed, it renewed it for me. So it wasn't permeated with that, weeks worth of terror from those nightmares. So if you can treat yourself to that. These days they have these blankets. I don't know if you have any, Athena, but I think they're called micro plush. I'm not sure. But oh my gosh, the softest things in the whole wide world. And I bought one and
You know
Copper took
what?
it. So I got
Oh, I
another
think
one. So now
we're having some weird like delays and echoes. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. My son had one of those micro plush or microfiber blankets, and he loved
right.
it too. And he always had a white noise fan. And in fact, he was the one who got me interested in having a white noise fan, my son.
Really?
I never used to have one ever until he had one. And so he just always slept better with a fan, and I just sort of adopted that, that
Yeah.
best practice, and I've been sleeping better ever since. But yeah, those really soft, snuggly, cuddly.
Yes.
I have a sheet. It's called a Hawaiian comforter. It's like a sheet plus another piece of material, and they're all sewn together.
Really?
And
Okay.
it stays cool at all times because it's like cotton sheet material. And
Uh-huh.
so I snuggle with it, and I always sleep better whenever I have it.
Stacy tweeted in, she must have a puppy named Rudy. She said, Rudy and I have Snugglepalooza every night. I love puppy snuggles.
Aww. Melissa says, "Hey Bobby, Copper should make an appearance during one of the hangouts. Pet therapy." I agree.
uh, we will have to do that if I can corral him. He's a timid little thing.
He's starting to like me though after almost a
Yes,
year. He's starting to
yes,
like
yes.
me.
Um, Okay, so let's move on. Use deep breathing, meditation, prayer, visualization, whatever you use that helps you to relax, incorporate those into your nighttime routine. If it's the last thing you do as before you get into bed or as you lay down in bed and you do your relaxation techniques, those can be really helpful, and they can also change your frame of mind. And that's what I like about visualization and meditation and prayer, is that they will put you in a mindset that separates you from your stressful day and hopefully separates your mind from remembering and some of the struggles in the abuse. And this morning we talked about this too. Avoid excessive use of alcohol, as alcohol does disturb your sleep. You might conk out real quick, but you will wake up in the middle of the night. You will have horrible dreams, even more so than you would normally, not to mention the fact that alcohol is a depressant. And so we really don't want you to be drinking too much alcohol. Now we know that sometimes along with abuse comes an abuse of alcohol or an addiction to help you cope, and we completely understand that. But if you can avoid an excessive use of alcohol, you will have a better quality of sleep.
Well,
And then go
I
ahead.
have a confession to make.
Okay.
So I have a glass of wine at least every single night because I feel like it relaxes me. But do you think I don't know
That
if
does
that contributes to me
that
not
doesn't fall
sleeping?
into excessive. But when I mean excessive, I mean drinking till you quote unquote have a buzz.
Okay.
I mean if you had 4 beers, if you had a bottle of wine,
Hmm.
I don't mean a glass or two at all.
Okay, okay. I just
No.
wanted to confess that like live on the air because
Right. No, I
if
get
that's
it.
contributing to my bad sleeping habits, then I want to have some accountability.
No, I don't think so. I think what we're talking about truly is drinking until you're numb.
Yeah.
That is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Um, and so that's the thing that you want to avoid. And especially, I mean, if you're going to have a couple drinks with dinner, that's probably 3 or 4 hours before you go to bed. So that's not the kind of thing that we're talking about. We're talking about sitting down, in front of the television and knocking back, 4 beers, 4 bottles of four well, 4 bottles. Now that'd be something. 4 glasses of wine. That's the kind of thing that is not helpful to your sleep quality. So,
Okay.
and the next ones are things that we want to recommend you talk to your doctor about. And so it's talk to your doctor about using natural herbs and medicines like melatonin. I have a lot of clients who have success with melatonin. It's a natural substance that your glands produce that helps you sleep. So that can really be helpful. Or you can talk to your doctor about using over-the-counter medications like Benadryl and Advil PM. They both have the same ingredient. It's an antihistamine in them that helps you to sleep. And I use Benadryl periodically to help me sleep. And you can also, if you need to, get a prescription medication from your doctor that will help you sleep. Now, I know that people can be really hesitant about these because many of them are narcotics, and they are Ambien, um, Lunesta, both of those, and sometimes people will use Xanax or Valium to help them sleep. All of those are addictive. But if you use them according to your doctor's instructions, you're not going to have a problem. And if you really are not sleeping to the point that you're not functioning during the day, I would much rather see you use a prescription medication than be completely non-functional.
Yeah.
And there are medications your doctor can prescribe that are not narcotic. And one that I will take sometimes is called clonidine, not Klonopin. Klonopin is an anti-anxiety medication. Clonidine is actually an old blood pressure medication. And what it does is it lowers all of your body reactions like blood pressure, heart rate. And so it serves to actually calm your body down, but it's not a narcotic. And it works really well for me. And I take it at a very low dose, and it just works. I love it. I don't take it every night, but when I get in that place, because what we all have to remember is that a lack of sleep does two things. Well, it does three things. It doesn't allow your brain to heal and restore, which means the day after, the next days after, you're going to have a harder time functioning, especially your executive functioning and all that stuff that goes through your prefrontal cortex. Two, if you have a tendency towards depression, not sleeping will bring on a depressive episode. So you have to sleep. And then for people who are bipolar, not sleeping can bring on psychosis and mania. So getting sleep, getting regular quality sleep is very important. Very, very important, especially for those of us who have concurrent mental illnesses. So I know that I have to sleep or my depression will get worse. I just know it. And that's why, even though I don't like to, I will take prescription medication sometimes, because it is a whole lot better than being so depressed, I'm suicidal and can't function.
Yeah.
It's a cost versus, benefit reaction kind of thing. Let's go down to talk about nightmares. We only have 11 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we get to this because nightmares were something this morning that people were talking a lot about. And some
Yeah.
people were even talking about how they can sleep. They don't have a problem sleeping, but they have nightmares that are so horrible that they're afraid to sleep.
Yeah.
So what you need to know, go ahead.
DR says that he can't relate to the whole nightmare thing. He's never had issues with dreams and nightmares. But Stacy was also just sharing, about alcohol and how it bothers with your sleep. And then we have a gentleman that just tweeted out. His name's Craig, which we haven't met him yet, but he was excited to tell us that he's been sober for 2.5 years now, which is awesome. Good job, Craig.
Yes, that's fantastic.
So DR, we're going to be talking about nightmares and dreams and stuff, so this might not apply, but maybe someone struggles with nightmares and dreams, and so this might be helpful for you.
Yes, and really quick, I had someone tweet in a question about using marijuana in terms of getting you in a relaxed, peaceful place.
My cousin has a medical marijuana card, and she says it helps her tremendously. She got prescribed marijuana to get off of her Ambien, and she says it's worked.
And marijuana does not disturb your sleep like alcohol. So I've never used it. I can't speak one way or the other. I don't. Now, where is your cousin from that she can use medical marijuana?
She lives in California, and they have what's called the dispensary, where she gets the card, and then I forget how much it is, and then she goes to the dispensary and she tells them what's up, and then and then they give it to her. So
I don't know how many states have that. To be honest with you, that would be a really interesting thing for us to research. But in terms of asking whether excessive alcohol and marijuana operate in the same way, no, they do not. Marijuana will not disturb your sleep like alcohol does.
That's good to know.
Yes. So to cope with nightmares, I'm here to tell you there are medications your doctor can give you that help reduce your nightmares. My psychiatrist has several medications that she is always willing to give me that will help with nightmares. One of them is Seroquel. And for PTSD survivors, for people with severe PTSD where their nightmares are, gut-wrenching awful, it can be something to consider because, again, you have to sleep. You just have to, or your mental health is going to pay a serious price. So
Yeah.
that's something you can talk to your doctor about. Seroquel is one of those drugs, like antidepressants you have to take every day, and you don't usually see a benefit until after 4 to 6 weeks. Seroquel is a drug that you can take for 3 or 4 nights and then not take. So it's not the same as antidepressants. So that is an option, and there are newer drugs out now besides Seroquel that you can also take. So it's important you have a relationship with your doctor. And I really recommend that if you struggle with these issues, maybe as much as some survivors do, it might be a good thing to have a psychiatrist. Even if you don't regularly take psychotropic medication, you want to have a relationship with someone, so when something gets bad, you're not looking through the phone book and you're not trying to find someone at that point.
Oh, yeah. It's like setting yourself up for success. Um,
Exactly.
DR says that Klonopin is bad juju. It zaps the life out of you.
I take Klonopin sometimes. I don't take it regularly. I feel like a druggie tonight. Everything I'm talking about, I take once in a while. But that's my mental illness. My mental illness is so severe that I do have a cadre of drugs that I know I can take every once in a while. And again, because my mental illnesses have been so severe that I have been hospitalized. I do have a suicide attempt in my history, so I have to be careful. I just really
Yeah.
do. And I don't want to shame anybody for taking medication. If you got to do it, do it. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'll stand behind you 100%. But again, that he makes a good point. Different psychotropic medications affect people differently. All of our brains are different.
Absolutely.
So whereas
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
might be bad for him, it works for me. So,
Yeah.
you know,
There was some I did some research on, someone was talking about taking Flexeril and how Flexeril was helping them sleep. It's some sort of
really,
muscle
it is.
relaxer.
It's a muscle relaxant. I've never heard of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
But
it was helping them sleep or something. But
right.
DR says that he is aware that medical marijuana is legal in 23 states.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Now,
you.
thank you so much. That's helpful. And not that, Athena and I are neither advocating nor um, putting it down. We're here to give you information. It's your recovery. You
Yeah.
need to you're the expert on
You're
you.
in the driver's seat.
That's right. Okay.
We have coming up before we're gonna end tonight. We have our pro tip, which was mentioned this morning by our favorite Stacy ever, the best Stacy ever, and we're also gonna share our Rockstar Tweet of the Week, and we have our contact sheets and how you can reach out to us weekly, and we have our schedule. We have just a couple more minutes, and we're gonna
Okay.
talk a little bit more about coping with nightmares.
Okay, so the next thing is to discuss your nightmares with your therapist or coach to help you process the emotions or memories that are the source of the nightmares. That's important because sometimes when we heal the source, the symptom goes away. And this was something, I was so excited about this morning when someone shared this. Keep something at your bedside that will help ground you when you wake from a nightmare. Someone said they had a rock that was special to them
Yeah,
that they
I thought
kept
that
under
was
their pillow.
awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is
That was
awesome.
really, really, really neat. I forget who said that they had a
Me
stone
too.
or a rock or something, but
Yeah,
it made me smile, and I thought, you know what, that's a really good idea.
it is. It is. So I definitely keep something, whether it's on your bedside table, whatever it is, something that helps ground you, get you back in your body and out of your head, and get you oriented to the present moment. After a nightmare, if you can't sleep and you're upset, by all means, get up. Get up, do something nurturing, um, get yourself reoriented into a good space before you go back to bed and try to sleep. And this is awesome. Athena has this one, the pro tip. Try to give yourself permission to be awake or to go back to sleep. Be mindful of not shaming yourselves. As we're laying there trying to struggle to fall asleep, it's so easy to go in the, what in the world is the matter with me? Why can't I sleep? Don't do that.
Yeah, we want to encourage you to not shame yourself. And
No.
thank you to the best Stacy ever for sharing that this morning, because it is true, you guys.
Yes,
We do need to give ourselves permission sometimes.
we do.
So, and when we give ourselves permission to, like Stacy was just tweeting out a moment ago, that, her family is anti-meds and anti-doctors.
Right,
And so
right,
it was a really huge deal for her to like get past that and, give herself permission to take medication or whatever it is that she needed for her recovery so that
right.
she could feel better. And
Exactly.
so kudos to you, girl.
That's right.
Awesome.
And it's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to stand up against your family and do things like that. So, yes.
It's
Um,
huge.
let's look at, you want to look at the Rockstar Tweet of the Week?
Yes.
Okay. I
Oh,
will
you know who we're
find.
missing tonight? We're missing Jack and Simi. Jack
We
and Simi,
are.
shout out. We miss you. And I miss you, Pepper Griggs. We miss you. We miss you. And we miss you, Joe. And we have a whole bunch of people that aren't here tonight. But so
Yes.
Katie is the one who tweeted out our Rockstar Tweet of the Week today, this morning during our UK chat. And if you're watching live in the UK, we love you so much because it is 3 in the morning there, and you are here live with us. So we love you extra, extra. We also love our US peeps, but I mean, if you're there at 3 in the morning, then we are here for you. So Katie says, allowing yourself to sleep when you are tired is very healing. You are repairing some serious damage, and it will take a long time. Now, I want to share something with you guys really intimately for a second about this particular quote. So my mom, bless her heart, okay, she has not gone through recovery. She has never dealt with any of the old issues or her child abuse or anything else, and so, which is why she's probably, perpetuated this cycle, and she still struggles with a lot of stuff. Love you, Mom. But my mom, bless her heart, will not ever, 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 hardly ever give herself permission to sleep. It's almost like it's just part of her identity to be tired all the time. And I'll say, "Are you resting, Mom?" And she'll go, "No, I haven't been sleeping very well, and I'm just really exhausted all the time." I'm like, "Well, why don't you go lay down?" "Oh, there's so much to do. I have so many chores. I really need to make Steven's dinner. I really need to vacuum. I really need to feed the dogs. I really need to do this." There's always something better, or more important to do than rest. And I'm here to tell you, beautifuls, rock stars, you are more important than the dogs having food and your husband having dinner and the floor getting vacuumed. I'm not saying neglect your husband and your animals in your house. That's not what I'm saying. Let's be real here. But I'm saying if you don't take care of you, no one will. And that's your takeaway. We want you to take care of yourself. We want you to value yourself because you're worth it. You
Right.
are worth it.
We
You're
give you
worth it.
permission.
We give you permission. Yes. And you're the reason we're here every single week. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm off my soapbox now.
I like your soapbox.
So we have, thank you, Katie, and thank you to the best Stacy ever. Thank you, DR, and shout out to Craig, sober for 2.5 years. We love you. You're not even in our community, but we just want to say hey. And we miss
Absolutely.
you guys that are not here tonight. Hopefully you will be able to tune in before Sex Abuse Chat, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you're in the UK, yes, UK, 2 a.m.
Yes. Well, let's put that up. These are all the ways that people can interact with us for free, no cost. We are here every single one of these times for CSAQT, which stands for Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. That chat's on Monday. On Tuesday is Sex Abuse Chat, which happens to occur on Wednesday mornings in the UK. And then we have our Google Hangout, which very soon will be on Roku TV. And we're waiting. We've gotten the beginning stage. Yes, we've gotten the initial approvals. Now we're just tweaking until we meet the standard. And so that's on Monday nights at 6 p.m. PST or 2 o'clock in the morning for all of you wonderful UK people.
We love you. You're awesome.
Yes, and there's down there you can see in blue, you can watch any of our episodes at that link, or you can go to YouTube. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep, go to our YouTube channel and you can watch hours and hours of our videos that hopefully will feel
we have 24 hours worth. I think we literally have 24 hours worth of stuff now. I mean, seriously, for a whole day straight, you could watch it. You could binge watch for like 24 hours straight.
Awesomeness. Okay, and here's how to contact us. Athena, why don't you go through those real quick, or are you checking Twitter?
Yeah. Oh no, it's cool. Stacy's going to join us tomorrow for sex abuse chat, I believe. So yay, we love you, Stacy. All right, so if you're tuning in on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, or one of the other podcast directories or apps that are
Uh-oh.
your Google Play, go when you're not driving, and you can go to YouTube, go to Roku, and you can watch us. But if you're driving and you're listening, we want to read these to you. Reach out to us on Twitter at Truth Is Hers, and that's Bobby's handle on Twitter. And I am at Athena Moberg, and we have a joint account for Trauma Recovery, and that's at Trauma Recovery U. You can email Bobby or myself any old time you want from any email address in the whole wide world, and that's bobbylparish@gmail.com or Athena at athenamoberg.com. Thank you for your patience if I don't get back to you right away, by the way. And our websites, bobbyparish.com, athenamoberg.com, super easy, and traumarecoveryuniversity.com. Now, if you want to join one of our private secret Facebook groups that is a source of peer-to-peer support, please private message us, send us an email, ask for an invitation. But if you just want to come hang out with us on Facebook, like be our friend and just hang out with us in normal real life, then go to facebook.com/Trauma Recovery University to kind of like check and see all the stuff that's going on with us and when Roku gets approved and all that. Or you can go to facebook.com/Bobby.Parish or facebook.com/Athena Moberg fan page, which is where I usually talk mostly with women because I don't have a lot of men that follow my page. It's more of a girly place, I guess. I don't really know. But you could friend me at Dawn Athena Moberg, and that's facebook.com/Dawn Athena Moberg, because that is my full name. So if you're driving, if you're driving, we didn't want you to have to try to like look down at your phone if you're listening to this on YouTube or something. But we do love to just welcome all of our podcast peeps, our YouTube peeps, our upcoming soon-to-be Roku peeps. If you're watching us on Roku, you're new, and you're just a total answer to prayer. So we love you. You guys are the reason we are here every single week. We are dedicated to bringing you everything you could possibly need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. And each topic that we have every single week is chosen by you weeks ahead of time. And we had a request today, Bobby, that we need to add to the editorial calendar. It's someone from the UK, and they wanted to know if we could talk more about peer-to-peer support. And she wanted it to be mentioned next week. Next week and the weeks after that are already taken. So whoever you were in our CSAQT chat this morning, we hear you. Everything that you guys request, we try to come through on, and we will add peer-to-peer support groups as a Google Hangout topic, which will then render to our YouTube channel and our Roku TV channel. So, what did I leave out, Bobby? I guess our 2 live events that are coming up in June, where we would love to hang out with you live in person. I should put some stuff up on the website about that. That way we don't have to just only talk about it. Then I could say, go to the website and click on events, and then they'd be able to see everything. That's what I should do.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I think I should. So first weekend in June and last weekend in June. The first weekend in June is in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Marriott Marquis, if their quote comes back and it's actually reasonable, which I think it will be. I'm dealing with a really sweet gal named Deneen. And on the West Coast, last weekend in June is going to be in the state of Washington, where it'll be more of a retreat, sort of relax, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be puppies. There needs to be puppies. So, but we love you guys, and we absolutely, this Monday is our favorite day of the week because we get to spend it with you guys. And I forgot to mention, Bobby, I want to give you a moment to say goodbye to everybody, but I know we're running just a couple minutes over. We apologize for that. I wanted to let all of you guys know that Bobby and I, as you know, are entrepreneurs, and we are starting up our weekly Entre Talk, and it's going to be a live Google Hangout on air where you can interact with us like you do here using the hashtag More Shame. Well, on Entre Talk, you're going to use the hashtag Entre Talk.
That's right.
ENTRETALK. Entre Talk. Because we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. So if you're a survivor, or even if you're not a survivor, but if you know anyone in the whole wide world that's interested in business tactics and best practices for creating your own personal brand, how to navigate through social media, things to do, not to do during your entrepreneurial journey, things that are ethical, not so ethical, list building, anything that has to do with anything about an online business, We are starting that up on February 9th,
Yep.
and it will be an hour earlier than Trauma Recovery University. So, and it's not going to be that long. It'll be like 30 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
and if you're an author, this would be a good thing for you to tune into as well, because being an author, especially a self-published author, you are a business owner. You need to market, you need to build your list, you need to do social media. So I know we have a lot of survivors who are authors. This would be a great thing for you to tune into, and we definitely will have material targeted towards you because Athena and I are authors too. So we're going to
yeah.
navigate those waters as well.
Yay! So that's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 1 o'clock in the morning in the UK
All
on
right, earlier.
Tuesdays.
Yay!
Yay! But we love you guys. We're so grateful for each and every one of you, and we just treasure your interactions and your emails and your Facebook posts and your tweets, and we just feel completely filled up whenever we deal with you guys. So it's a joy to come to you every single week, and the way we are able to continue to do this for free is because you guys are sending us tweetimonials and you're liking our videos and you're watching and you're interacting with us on social media. If you didn't do that, we probably wouldn't be able to do all this stuff for free. So please keep it up. What did I forget, Bobby?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I can't think of
Well,
anything. If we missed it, we'll tweet it.
all right. Well, until next time, we love you guys. Aloha.
Yes. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week or at
Okay.
chat.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific or 2 a.m. in the UK. Okay. Bye.